everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Table Takes. It's a wonderful, wonderful, cloudy Friday here in Seattle. Let me go ahead and just catch you all up what I've been doing. You know what? If you haven't done it yet, watch Interview with a Vampire. It's a great TV series. You should all do that. I totally just this week been binging season 2 of it, and I highly recommend it. Did you guys know that they're making a whole cinematic universe with like the witches and the vampires, and it's all Anne Rice things? It's just I wanted to share that with you. So, it's a, all of nerdom encompasses various different like circles, and Anne Rice novels. It's just like they're in the little niche there that Vampires in the Masquerade can also appreciate as well. But yeah, enough about me. I see all of these lovely, lovely folks here. Start with, hey, Javion, where are you going to vacation? You look like you're in the having a nice weather in your part of Seattle.
Yeah.
In your apartment.
Next week I'm going to Palm Springs, sunny Palm Springs. Gonna see a lot of my friends. Gonna stay at a Margaritaville hotel I've never stayed at before. I'm very excited. I'm also gonna be playing a lot of Lorcana with my friend who has. I have the funniest story to tell you guys. Okay, so he went to the original release of like the promos at Anaheim at the D23, I think it was, or maybe D22. He got 5 of the promos. Yeah, that promo. Yeah, he got 5 of them and gave 4 of them away because he didn't realize how much they were worth at the time. So yeah, unfortunate. But he promised me he won't do that to me this year because I can't go because it's a week after Gen Con. I actually did want to show you something I finally got in the mail I'm super excited about. It's an Illuminator's Trove for Ursula's Return. I finally got my hands on one. It comes with a bunch of boosters and these pretty, pretty dice. Oh, kind of see them there. Yeah, nice and thematic.
Ooh.
And then one last thing. I'm sorry. I had a lot of stuff go on this week I wanted to show you. Okay, this last thing. I built this thing.
Oh,
Oh, is that a marble?
Yeah.
it looks like a Rube Goldberg machine.
I was just trying to remember the name of that.
Yeah, you turn this crank and then the balls fall down. Let me see if I can make it. Hold on. Yeah,
Woo!
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, it took me 2 weeks to build it after my birthday, and I finally found the time to finish it all off, sanding it down, rubbing wax on the gears to oil them up, and then voila! Now I got a cool little marble machine. It's awesome.
You're such a geek.
I am. I know. You're right. Ah!
Nerds! Speaking of nerds, noir!
Ow, my feelings. Hey, how's it going? What? So I'm guessing the question is, what have I been up to this week?
Yeah.
So I have a Kickstarter that should be. It should have been at my house 2 hours ago, according to UPS. But it's coming today. It's the Roller Crit bag of holding that I backed, and I'm just so excited to finally get my hands on it so I can put all the loot and swag there from Gen Con. And I'm really looking forward to Gen Con now because it was just announced, and I'm going to flex a little bit, that I've been nominated for a Crit Award for Best GM using the Chaosium system. So Best Chaosium GM. So if you have a second, vote for me, baby, so I can have a trophy. I've never gotten a trophy before.
Where's the link? Links! Provide links, Noir!
Which Chaosium game? Which Chaosium game?
So we ran Harlem Unbound, which uses the Call of Cthulhu system.
Sure.
Harlem Unbound, written by Chris Spivey, is a really cool module. So definitely check that out. And I'll be putting the link in chat any second now. Okay, that's it. You can stop observing me.
All right. Well, congratulations again, Noir, and we'll hopefully get that link so we could go ahead and post and support. Also, you know what? Last but not least, Peter, how have you been?
I've been great, Bonsai. Thank you for asking. Well, I have been plugging, of course, D&D 50 years celebration of D&D. We've been doing a mini series, as I've said every week. Our last episode is tomorrow, where we will be celebrating 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons with 2 of the designers, Mike Merles and Rodney Thompson, and 3 of our Actoroki stars, Damon Van Heem, Megan Carey-Nasser, and Bryce Bebop. And we will talk about 5th edition and we will play 5th edition. But that's not all. I have a surprise for my co-hosts here today. For you all. Yes. Okay. So we are now sponsors. Gen Con TV and TableTakes are now sponsors of my favorite podcast, which is called Ken and Robin Talk About Stuff. And our little audio advertisement appeared in the most recent episode. And I think maybe Marcus can play it for us.
Hold the presses.
Stop typing the teletypes.
It's time for another CarCast News Bulletin.
Gamers across the globe are flocking to Gen Con TV.
Gen Con TV, the best 4 days in gaming all year long.
Gen Con TV is streaming on Twitch.
It's free.
It's chock-a-block with gaming news.
From the weekly tabletop gaming news show TableTakes.
Every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Heroic hosts Javian Smith, Bonsai Baby, The Noir Enigma, and Peter Atkinson
Bring you scintillating, up-to-the-moment features.
stay up to date with Bundle Boss and Crowdfunder Court.
Go in depth with your favorite luminaries on Interview Worthy.
But that's not all on Gen Con TV.
Satisfy your gaming cravings with
Actual plays of tabletop RPGs,
actual plays of strategy games,
miniatures painting,
live art draws.
and short film adaptations of stories created at the gaming table.
For all of this and more, turn your digital dial to...
Twitch.tv/GenConTV.
And once you're there, be sure to click follow.
That's Gen Con TV.
The best 4 days in gaming, all year long.
Yay!
That is
We
so
just advertised
cool.
ourselves on our show, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
If you sign up to TableTakes Plus, you get no ads. No, I'm kidding.
That's it.
No,
That's my report.
That is
so-
awesome. That's really cool. But no, I mean, there's just, I mean, what is it? It's less than 50 days, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Less than 50 days to Gen Con, actual convention. I hope you're all ready. And with that, seeing that there's less than 50 days left, Noir, tell us what we can see at the
Wait a
event.
second,
What?
Bonsai.
What?
What have you been up to?
Yeah, you gotta just
Wait.
skip.
I
wait.
remember, I told you guys,
Oh.
oh my goodness, I
Oh.
told y'all when I was doing, I said vampires.
We're
Well,
all
you know,
just so excited. We're just
I
so excited.
just-
We can't help it.
we just wanted to show you an example of an interrupt, which is something that you'll see lots of in Magic the Gathering. You won't see any in our Lorcana, but you will see them in Magic the Gathering, and you'll be seeing tons of Magic the Gathering at Gen Con 2024. That's because they are bringing a Secret Lair Showdown to the con, and there are going to be some glorious promo cards that you'll be able to get there, and they are gorgeous. They're going to make an appearance in the form of a legacy constructed qualifiers with a 32-person championship event on Sunday. The Secret Lair play promo for these qualifier events will be a spell pierce card with art by Michael Kohler. Players who make it to the championship event will receive a Mudcurd Tide Regent promo with art by Rowan Ellis, and the winner of the event will earn a Dark Ritual promo with artwork by Wizard of Barge. There will be over 400 Magic events at Gen Con this year, ranging from classic win-a-box events to regional championship qualifiers. Players who enter events that cost $40 or more will receive a Lightning Bolt promo that has art rendered by manga and graphic artist Toru Toreda of the Black Box Chronicles. This promo can also be obtained by purchasing the Secret Lair Burning Revelations drop set from Hasbro Pulse Booth, which contains an inspiring Overseer, Consider, Price of Glory, Reckless Fireweaver, and a Chromos Memorial with artwork by Ricardo Carvolo. That is to say, there's so much Magic the Gathering happening at Gen Con. If you are trying to collect everything or you just want the latest, this is where you want to be. So, what do you guys think about that? I know we've been in flux with Lorcana stuff, but what do you think about the Magic side of things here?
Yeah.
No, I really like the artwork for this. I know that it can be controversial with the writing scheme and everything with the cards, but I kind of like it because it kind of makes it seem like it's like early in the days when you can make your own cards and you can like not make your own cards, but you can copy it down and then put in what the card did. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. But
I'm just excited to see Gen Con like really supporting. I mean, Wizards really supporting Gen Con this year. It's just great to have. I mean, they've supported us for years, but this felt, it's been a long time since they've really come in a big way. But this feels really, really good.
yeah.
Yeah, with the huge amount of people that come to Gen Con and with the constant barrage of people who want to get in on events and can't always find the ones they want to, it's really good to see that there are so many Magic events that people can sign up for. So even if you don't get the exact one you wanted, there's still plenty of other places to go.
I'm just upset that the card that I want the most, that Dark Ritual, I would have to win a 32-person tournament to get. So I'm never gonna see it. It's
You can do
fine.
it. You can do it.
We believe in you. Go do it, Noir. Win awards. Beat up other people with their cards. Or don't literally, but you know what I mean.
I play mill deck. They would want to get me out first.
No, but with all that, I would like to go ahead and take a break from all this joy that we're having to some unfortunate news that has happened this week. And Peter, can you please go ahead and tell us all about this unfortunate news?
Yeah. So this feature is brought to us by Mike Tidemus True at Board Game Wire. Board game news website Dicebreaker has made its editor-in-chief Matt Jarvis and senior staff writer Alex Meehan redundant following 3 weeks of silence on the website in the wake of its parent company's takeover by IGN. Jarvis, who has been the editor-in-chief almost since its site's inception in 2019, emailed contributors today to announce that his last day will be Friday, and he apologized for his unavailability during this redundancy process, saying it has been as frustrated as you with the silence. Meehan took to Twitter today, as of the time of this writing, in the wake of Jarvis's announcement to confirm she had also been made redundant after almost 5 years at Dicebreaker. Dicebreaker has posted just a single sponsored article to the site since its parent company, Gamer Network, was bought by video games website giant IGN on May 21st. The site's YouTube channel, which has 108,000 subscribers, has also received no new uploads in the past 3 weeks. Board Game Wire has made repeated requests for information about the site's future to IGN's owner, Ziff Davis, but is yet to receive any kind of response. It is understood, however, that several of the team's 5-strong permanent staff have been facing redundancy processes, and that communication to employees from both the former and new owners has been extremely minimal. Neither Dicebreaker, Gamer Network, nor IGN has made any public statements about the site's future since the takeover 3 weeks ago. It has not officially announced Jarvis or Meehan's departure. Dicebreaker's permanent team at the time of IGN's takeover also consisted of head of video Michael Whalen and video producers Olivia Kennedy and Maddie Cullen. Jarvis said in the email to contributors, "I'm not able to say exactly what the future holds for the Dicebreaker website and wider brand, mostly because I am now not in a position to know myself. My understanding is that the website will remain live for the time being. Needless to say, I would recommend archiving your work if you haven't already, just in case." He added, "Thank you for helping to create what I honestly believe was a place that represented and championed the best that tabletop gaming journalism coverage has to offer, all while bringing deserving, welcoming work to as great an audience as possible. I hope you'll all remain as proud as I am with everything you brought to the site and the success and reputation Dicebreaker built in the industry. And beyond thanks to your hard work. A particularly huge thanks to Chase Carter, Jason Coles, Alicia Haddock, and Kaylin Ellis, whose monthly coverage across news, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Warhammer was consistently outstanding and helped take the site in directions that would have never traveled so ably without your expertise and efforts. I really can't thank you enough for everything you did over the last few years. You are as much a part of the Dicebreaker team as anyone." Dicebreaker's launch in 2019 was something of a watershed moment for the tabletop games industry, with the creation of a dedicated site staffed by professional reporters underlining the booming nature of the hobby. The site has also been one of the vanishingly few board game journalism outlets whose reporting goes back beyond new game announcements and reviews. something Board Game Wire believes is hugely important for an industry, which has quickly grown from a relatively small niche hobby into a multi-billion-dollar sector. Articles published on the site that otherwise may not have seen the light of day include an expose of alleged toxic workplace culture at Pandasaurus Games, which the firm has denied, an instigation into the impact of Twitter's decline on tabletop creators, and the reporting of a wave of redundancies at Dark Souls and Elden Ring board game maker Steamforged. All of these investigations were the work of Carter, who in February launched TTRPG-focused journalism site Rascal News alongside award-winning reporter Lynn Kodega, who broke the news on D&D's OGL controversy and the TTRPG and actual play journalist Rowan Zioli. Jarvis and Meehan have both tweeted to say they are actively looking for work and can be contacted at jarvisfreelancing@gmail.com or alexmeehan.uk@gmail.com, respectively. Shortly after this article went live, Dicebreaker's head of video, Michael Whalen, also confirmed that he has been made redundant. He tweeted, "No idea what IGN will do with the brand in the future, but if you haven't already been able to tell from the multiple layoffs and no posts, the Dicebreaker as you knew it is no more."
Ooh, that is a very hard thing to hear, honestly, for like you said, the board gaming industry in general, because as you stated, this was one of the main sources that we also here on TableTakes got a lot of our news from, and about the hobby, about what's going on, and there is definitely a void that is there, and hopefully maybe companies like Rascal will pick up that void, and compensate, maybe other news sites as well, or Takes news sites as well. We'll go ahead and make up for that. What do y'all's?
Well, let's not forget we still have ICV2. Very
Oh yes,
thankful
stop
for
ICV2.
that, and we still have Polygon, and Ian World. I mean, there are those out there, but I feel like Dicebreaker really established a very strong, position in very independent journalism and really focused on tabletop games. But so yeah, definitely sad to see them go.
Yeah, I hate to see this trend in the gaming space. Like it feels like it's hidden every aspect of it, and it's really talented people having to solve really difficult problems, and I just hope to see an end to it.
Well, I'm at least glad to hear that Chase Carter found somewhere to continue that work, and several others hopefully will have somewhere to go as well. So good luck to all of them.
Well, sorry for another whiplash, folks, but from happy news to really sad news, maybe potentially hopeful news to the next opportunity for all of these folks that got laid off, we have awards to be given out. I'm so sorry. This is just Noah. Can you save me?
No, I got you. So to show that there's still plenty of life in the hobby after hearing such a dark take, we've got news coming from Spiel Essen 2024. Spiel Essen organizers have announced that they have sold out of exhibitor space for their 2024 convention, which will happen from October 3rd through the 6th, 2024. This is the first time the Spiel Essen will fill 6 exhibition halls at the Mers Verlag with exhibitors. The additional booth space sales have been attributed to exhibitors wanting more space for their booths and more news publishers buying space. We knew quite early on that it would be fuller than 2023, said Carol Rapp, managing director of organizing Mers Verlag. But just before the deadline, we received a large number of registrations. This will also be a record for the square footage occupied by the fair, which will be approximately 737,629 square feet converted from square meters. America. Last year, Spiel Essen drew in over 190,000 visitors. Like I said, this is just an exciting sign to see that there is just so much life and so much hunger in this hobby. I'm jazzed for it. Maybe that means they get another convention. Maybe that means I don't know. But who knows what it means? But let's see what you guys think.
Well, I'm a
Uh,
big fan of Spill Lesson. I just posted in chat. I used to go every year. It was a highlight of the year to go and see the European gaming scene. And so yeah, this is good news that Spill Lessons continue to do really well and becoming increasingly vibrant and strong.
I would say I still have yet to go to this. I haven't had many European excursions in my lifetime yet. So it is one of those things that, and it makes it feel glad for me. So it won't be like another, I'm trying to think of the gaming. I'm not gonna say it right now, but there's like other gaming conventions that I was like, oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna go to that don't exist anymore. So I'm glad to see that this is probably gonna still stay strong, and I could potentially in maybe when I have enough monies go to go to this event.
I haven't been myself either, but I'm definitely looking forward to going one day. And now I know that I'm gonna need to get there early because it looks like it's gonna be packed.
That's always been packed. Just they might not have sold the entire convention center before, but the convention center part that they did sell was packed. It's always been packed.
More
Yeah,
exhibitors means less room in the walkway.
I guess like on another different note on this, I guess this is more of a sign that things are finally like in terms of gaming conventions and people meeting up again. It feels like a lot of people are starting to get back into the world, of course, after the 2020 pandemic that had us trapped for 2 years, 2+ years. And now we can finally see the migration of folks.
Well,
like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed we didn't think to cover it, but last week was UK Games Expo, and I think they had a record year this year as well. And so congratulations that our good friends there, Troy and Richard, who come to Gen Con every year. I'm gonna go to UK Games Expo next year. I've been putting it off and putting it off, and I finally committed and said, okay, I'm gonna be there next year. So I'll
So
be
what I'm hearing is that Gen Con, we need to beat them and break more records, even more records when we go to Gen Con this year. It's a challenge to the community. Make us break all the records. But yes, well, with that, speaking of which, so for those folks, please forgive my German because I am terrible at it. I do not speak Deutsch. So thank you to the source of Eric Martin at Board Game Geek for this, because the Spiel des Jahres nominees have been announced. The nominees for this year's Spiel des Jahres, Kinderspiel, Kinderspiel and Kinderspiel have been released. I'm going to go ahead and list off the games that they have and what I believe is going to be the potential winner of each category. So for the the Spiel des Jahres, they have Captain Flip, In the Footstep of Darwin, and Sky Team. Out of these three games, I'm pretty sure Sky Team, we've already been seeing them. They've been making a lot of not waves. What is it? Clouds.
Ripples.
Ripples. There you go. Ripples in the community. For the in the
air currents.
Air currents. Whatever the lines that the planes have. I don't know what they're called. Please, somebody help.
Contrails?
Contrails. There we go. They've been making contrails in the board game community. Thank you so much, Peter. And I have no doubts that they are going to take the prize. For Kinderspiel des Jahres, they have Daybreak, the Guild of Merchant Explorers, and Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West. I don't know if anybody's going to be surprised, but Ticket to Ride Legacy is probably, in my opinion, going to be the winner. Ticket to Ride has been consistent.
No.
No?
No.
No, you don't want it?
No, Guild of Merchant Explorers is going to win.
Okay, really? So it's really?
Yeah. Okay, I say that out of love and loyalty to AEG, the publisher. So, I mean, I gotta. You gotta stick with my buddies, you know.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And then last one is they do have one name that this is why I said forgive me, because for the Kinderspiel des Jahres, I'm going to try to attempt this name because there's not really an English translation to this. It's called the Grossen Kleinen in der Stinen. That is, I'm
Nailed
so
it.
sorry. This is the I wish we had
I've been looking forward to that all episode.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm
That's
very sorry about that. I really wish Derek was here because Derek knows how to speak German. But yes, Magic Keys and last Taco Kitten Pizza, if it sounds familiar, because it is a more simplified version of Taco Cat goat cheese pizza. And those are what we have. It's the winners. I know, Peter, you've been saying which ones you've been looking at. Noir, Javon, do you have any suggestions?
If I know one thing, it's that Sky Team is the best two-player co-op game I've ever played in my life. It has dice. It's got hidden information and restrictions on communication. It's thematic. You're like deploying the landing gear and the flaps. You're changing speed and doing the brakes and communicating down, like all of that by just placing some dice in some slots. Like,
That's right.
so good.
What you're saying is if it doesn't win, Javion, you're gonna have a talk with somebody. There's gonna be trouble.
Yeah. I also need to have a talk with the folks over at Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. I want to know who these people are that are clamoring for a more simple game than literally the most requested party game I ever got when I was working over at the board game store, Mox Boarding House. You know how many times people would call in and be like, yeah, I just want to play something fun, something like simple. Do you have Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which wasn't even out yet? How did they even know about it? Anyway, good for them. I'm happy that they have another more simple game that apparently they wanted.
Noir, any words to this?
All right, I'm just gonna run through my picks. Captain Flip, I'm picking because I like the name. He was so upset. I'm picking Daybreak because you two of our hosts picked one the two other ones. And finally I'm gonna pick Magic Keys because I'm rooting for the underdog.
No. Thank you. As you can see, Javion has words
made
about that.
Javion so upset at me, y'all. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, if anything, folks, let's go ahead and for this, you know what's also just awesome or maybe even awesomer than the Spiel des Jahres? Guess what? Diana Jones! Peter, tell us about it.
Oh, yes. So excited about this. Okay, so this feature is brought to us by Jeffrey Dome Sanchez at ICV2. So the Diana Jones Award Committee announced its 2024 finalists. The five finalists for this year's award all exemplify excellence in the games industry in their own unique ways. The Diana Jones Award for Excellence in Gaming is awarded to a game system or supplement, a magazine, a company, a designer, an event or convention, or any other entity that shows gaming at its absolute zenith, end quote. This year, Adepticon in the Midwest and Festival in Denmark were both nominated as conventions. TTRPGs for Trans Rights in Florida was also nominated as a charity bundle by Rue Dickey. The sole designer amongst the nominees was Amy Bayo, who is the owner of Pink Tiger Games. Finally, the DJA committee nominated the United Paizo Workers for the groundbreaking work in helping to bring unionization to the games industry. The winner of the award will be announced at Gen Con on July 31st, 2024 at the Diana Jones Award ceremony. Since we're on the topic of the Diana Jones Award, in case you missed the announcement a couple of weeks ago, the winners of the Diana Jones Emerging Designer Award for 2024 are Taylor Navarro, producer of Tales from Sina Una, Quinn Brander, designer of Rebuilding Seattle, Basil Wright, designer of You're Naked, You Can Not Pet the Cat, and more, and Clarence Simpson, co-designer of The Wolves. Also, we will be interviewing the winners, the ones interested in being interviewed anyway, here on TableTakes during roughly the August-September timeframe. So stay tuned. We at Gen Con TV offer our enthusiastic congratulations for all the 4 winners of the Emerging Designer Award and for the 5 finalists of the prestigious Diana Jones Award.
a lot of these sounds kind of familiar. I'm really excited to meet all of them. Doing the interviews last year was so exciting. We met so many cool people, and then to get to go to Gen Con and be like, "Yay, we already met you, but now we get to like clap for you now that you're accepting your award." It was really cool.
Yeah, I wish we'd have done it. I mean, last year we did those interviews before that. And I think that's a better way to do it. This year, frankly, I dropped the ball. I forgot about this, and nobody reminded me to. And so we kind of got a late start. I was distracted with this D&D 50 thing. So next year I will try extra hard to make sure we do the interviews before Gen Con.
I just want to say really quickly, I'm rooting for Adepticon with my whole heart because it's in Schaumburg, Illinois, and they don't claim Chicago. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Sorry, that's just for us in the city.
No, well, that is awesome to hear. And of course, we look forward to it. And I'm sure that the nominees would also be very excited to talk about it afterwards, because I know how it is. Like the ramp up to doing the Diana Jones Award is like, oh my God. And then now they can go ahead and ease into afterwards and be still like having that flow and hype for what they are doing. And you want to know what everyone's very hyped for, except for maybe Noir? We got Lorcana News with JV on. Lorcana News with JV on.
Yeah, let's talk about Lorcana. For those of you who don't know, I have sort of fallen deep down the rabbit hole in Lorcana. My days are spent frantically refreshing the page on their website so I can see previews for the new cards for the new set, and I am always vigilant, on the Gen Con website because, like many of you, I was waiting with bated breath to find out when we were going to get some Lorcana events on the schedule. Much like Magic the Gathering, Lorcana TCG events are put on the schedule a little bit later than everything else, closer to the day of. But now I can confidently say we have over 70 events for Lorcana to look forward to at Gen Con. So there's so many different kinds of events you can try out. We've got the starter decks. You can either learn how to play it and grab your own free starter deck with a booster, or you can get a random starter deck and play in a starter deck tournament, so you don't have to like build your own cards if you're like me, and that was a very scary prospect for you. There are also lots of multiplayer Lorcana to play, because if you don't already know this, Lorcana is actually designed not to just be a one-on-one thing. It's designed to be up to 4 players as well. And there's a lot of people doing constructed decks for multiplayer, and the co-op campaign that was released for set 4, Ursula's Return, so you can play through that with us at Gen Con as well. And get a bunch of cool free stuff too. There's the free promo that you get for every event that you do. However, they are limiting things. You can only do one of each format at the convention. So you can't sign up for all of the first and second set sealed deck draft stuff. You have to sort of spread it out to give everybody a chance to try some stuff. And of course, like I said, there's going to be some sealed events. There's draft events, and there's even sealed booster draft, which means you kind of do both sealed and draft. If you want to know more about all that means, you're gonna have to do what I did and Google it and learn much more about these different formats, because there's a lot of information and a lot of practice you're going to want to get into before the event comes up. So right now the tickets are still available. There's still events available to take a look at on the Gen Con website. So check out the link there in Twitch chat if you are going to Gen Con, and if this is the first you're hearing of it, well, yeah, go ahead and sign up for whatever events look fun to you. Fill up your schedule with lots of fun stuff. So another fun thing about Lorcana at Gen Con, you might have remembered if you had been there last year, that giant line that was going out the door and all the people clamoring to get that cool promo that was sort of on release for Gen Con. Well, I have a little birdie who told me a rumor. This is not confirmed, but we should be able to see Shimmering Skies at Gen Con at the Ravensburger booth. So it should Shimmering Skies. Oh, what's that? You don't know what that is? Well, let me tell you. Lorcana's 5th set was announced back on Wednesday on a Lorecast. It's sort of like a pre-recorded video where they introduce all the news for the 5th set that's coming out for Lorcana. It's called Shimmering Skies. Shimmering Skies is going to be a very interesting set. It's got a lot of new characters, but not a lot of new content. You're going to still see the starter decks. You're still going to see booster packs being around the same price, maybe a little bit different because it's a new set coming out. There's accessories like playmats and portfolios for people to grab that are sort of new for this set, as well as a new product for the Lorcana line for folks who are trying to get into Lorcana for the first time. It's called Gateway. Gateway comes with 2 small decks of Lorcana cards and step-by-step instructions on how to play your first couple of turns in the game. Then you open up these little packs and add more cards to your deck. So you get more and more complicated keywords and changes to the gameplay as you progress. So you don't have to just jump headfirst into how to play Lorcana. So this is going to be really fun for folks who are trying to get their hands on Lorcana, but are worried that a trading card game is going to be too complicated. One last couple of things. I said one, but I actually meant 2. You can definitely check out the app for Lorcana if you want to watch for the previews for all the new cards that are coming out. There was also announced that Disney Villainous is getting a tie-in for Lorcana. I know, big shocker, right? Disney Villainous, a board game by Ravensburger, and now they're putting some Lorcana stuff into it. Yeah, if you get the newest edition of Disney Villainous, which I believe is Introduction to Evil, you will get a special promo that you can only get from that box. Now, some of those are already released, but those ones don't have the promo in it because the set's not released yet. So wait until the set gets released, then some new boxes will get released, and then you can get your promo. Now, what's really interesting is that during that whole thing where the Lorecast, when everything was getting released and everybody's talking about stuff, the overwhelming majority of people who are in that Twitch chat were talking and begging and demanding information about Pixelborn. Pixelborn was a free application that people could play and matchmake together online, creating decks of Lorcana cards and playing against one another. But the creator of it was told to shut it down. Ravensburger said, no, absolutely not. So then everybody thought, oh, maybe we're going to get some online, digital platform to play by Ravensburger, right? Right? Then nothing got announced and people started losing their absolute minds. So they tried to do more. They tried to do another thing. Okay, what if we did webcams? What if we did webcams and you can play the Lorcana on the webcam and everything's fine, right? Nope, that got shut down too. They're not allowed to do that either. So if you're looking at playing Lorcana, it's looking more and more like in person at your local stores or with your friends is going to be the route to go through. So hope you are excited to come to Gen Con and play some Lorcana with me. And I hope all of you out here, my Gen Con crew, are going to be playing some Lorcana with me at the event as well, because I'm going to be bringing everything.
I'll go ahead and put my 2 cents in this theory. This my own theory is that they're just waiting to launch the mobile app version, the web version, the ones that you can play with online community, either at Gen Con maybe, or at their own Disney 2025 event that is coming on and happening. So I would not be surprised. That's why everybody's like, nah, no, talk. We not do this, because they're going to be launched. That's just my, I don't have my.
Is that a conspiracy?
It's a little bit, but I forgot my hat. Hold on.
Full-blown
might be a conspiracy, but not confirmed. My conspiracy. But yes. On that note, folks, we're gonna go ahead and move right along into actually, we're gonna have a quick discussion with y'all. I wanted to have your thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys know. We started this little thing called discussion, which is like kind of getting to know a little bit more about us and us as gamers and what we think about it. The topic I'm going to bring up today is, hey, you ever notice that on Reddit or Board Game Geek, someone will post pictures of some random board game pieces and ask, hey, can you help identify it, and make a collective amount of people their Google image search, because Google image search isn't working. And somebody would be like, oh, hey, yeah, no, I recognize this. Some of the more iconic game pieces that people may note, like if you see, hey, look, D20, you think automatically Dungeons and Dragons. You see a metal shoe or a car, that's got to be Monopoly, or like, you know, like the little plastic battleships with holes in it, got to be Battleship. My question to you is, what are, what I say modern, as in games that have been made within the past 20 years? What was it that Peter, you said the term is called?
This century?
This century, this century board game pieces. Like what? Like, is it that games have gone to too basic of meeples? I hate to say it that way. Too basic of like generalized meeples, or is it just that we need time for it to like become a classic that people could just be like, I've seen that game, I know where it's from? And do you have examples of one that might be that are iconic now?
I got something that's iconic, but it's not iconic because of the game or any of the pieces. It's iconic because of the commercial, and more specifically the song that played during the commercial, and that's Crossfire. I don't know if y'all remember this game. It was in the 90s. You it was like air hockey with marbles, where you would shoot and try to get into somebody else's goal. But there's a commercial where they're like on pillars, and there's just a guy rocking the Crossfire. So yeah, that's my iconic game piece or game of the last Fire. Wait, when did that come out at? In the 90s. Oh no. No. I just realized how long ago that.
Thank you for playing, Noir.
We're looking for stuff that's after the 200. Wait, hold on. How many zeros? 20000 markers. I feel old.
I gotta admit, Bonds, I've been scratching my head. I've been able to think of something that quite fits your category. I think a couple things that are like kind of close is game tables have become a thing in this century, and that's kind of iconic in the sense, like, big streamers are using them, and maybe the game sorters, like the dice towers. Although dice towers go way back, but like broken token trays and stuff like that.
Crossfire. Those are accessories, though. But games, that's what I'm saying. Is it a lost art? That's what I'm hoping to that.
Well, dice are accessories too. D20s are accessories.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't think that any game designers are avoiding making anything iconic. I think what's going on is what you said earlier, Bonsai, of like giving them sort of the time and space to become iconic, right? I think of what you're saying with like classics as something that has had time to sort of marinate in the culture. And then we sort of like use these things as like identifiers that anybody can reach. But, if you poll the population of the world right now, more of them will be able to recognize games that were played long time ago than the more modern ones, So I think of stuff like, say, Wingspan and Seven Wonders as things that will stand the test of time and be super popular for a very long time to come. And also maybe their pieces will become iconic. Like you'll think of like the Wingspan eggs or the dice tower as something that you can instantly say, oh, or like Azul. When that game came out, it was so popular. And when you see the little pieces, everybody's gonna know which game that came from. So I think I see what you're saying.
Well, that is, yeah.
In chat, Grundle00 is saying generic meeples, but I think you would say that predates this century, right?
Generic meeples. Like, I mean, they've been coming more as customable pieces, like that, components and pieces that people use nowadays. But like, meeples aren't assigned to one game. It's assigned to all games.
Well, actually, Bonsai, now that you mention it, you should definitely keep an eye out for Carcassonne. because the creators of that have made some waves by trying to patent the word meeples. So keep an eye out for the news that we report on this next week as any developments arise.
Getting
That's
a taste of next
I'm sorry.
episode.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I don't mean to make a face, but that
But you did. You
Can
made
I-
a face, Bonsai.
Can I pose a different question? And it'll be real quick. I don't want to take up too much. What do you think is the most iconic game piece, regardless of time? I mean, I don't think anything's beating the race car from Monopoly, personally.
Jenga block.
Oh, you're right.
Jenga. Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
But Bonsai keeps giving us new constraints. Like she laid on the constraint, it has to be from one game instead of like all games. Otherwise, I would say the hexagon.
The hexagon.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
Mini
there's has to
hexagon?
be.
Or like Catan
It means old school board game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to represent my demographic.
Now we're on the demographic because we're like, what games in the 2000s, not the 90s? Great. That's a great discussion. I'm glad that we got into that because you want to know what? With all this talk about things becoming iconic, I feel like we should invest in Crowdfunder Court.
Yeah.
Welcome to Crowdfunder Court. Here come the judges. Prepare to be judged. All rise. Court is now in session.
And the court is now in session, folks. I'm going to head and leading the charge with Grim Wild. I don't know if you guys know, I really like narrative focused RPGs. Surprise! But what I brought is, let me go ahead and read off the little quip they have. A fantasy adventure tabletop role-player RPG inspired by D&D 5th edition classes and monsters, but built with a modern and narrative rules that strive for fluid gameplay, creative freedom, and cinematic film. So Grimwild is another attempt to bring D&D style fantasy to more of a narrative gameplay style. That means I'm breaking away from your minifigs. Go away with your maps. I don't have forever to put maps and draw maps out on a board and put minifigs down, okay? I don't want to bring out rulers. I just want to play in my imaginary world with my friends telling a story. But this is a game developed to kind of fill the whole of Dungeon World. It's powered by the Apocalypse system, and it feels more closely to like Forge in the Dark D&D edition. But in fact, the designer even notes that it addresses that this is a niche that needs to be filled as a narrative RPG, develop and mature through Dungeon World itself has started to feel a little bit dated, so this is kind of their attempt to address that. This game also features what I think is the cooler thing is freeform spellcasting system that seems to draw ideas for a lot from freeform magic systems. It has custom spell creation like in Arcs Magica, and spell difficulty and effect skills, difficulty of doing the same kind of non-magically thing in like Barbarians of Luminara. So if that kind of sounds interesting to you and you're like, hey, all right, I like narrative first RPGs, then go ahead and go to BackerKit for this. You know what, Peter? I feel like, are you going to challenge my
Oh, you better believe it, Bonsai. This one's for the ages. This is epic. This is perhaps the most important crowdfunder we've ever talked about on this show. Yes, of course, I am talking about the newest installment of the Gamers franchise, Gamers for Dorkness Falls. This is currently being funded on Kickstarter. It has raised $300,000 versus a goal of $500,000 and 15 days to go. This is a little close for comfort, guys. We need to get everybody in there to help push this one over the line. So let me read what Matt Vancel has to say on his Kickstarter page. The Gamers is a story we've been telling over 20 years ago. What began as a passion project has grown into an indie cult classic franchise. The Gamers movies have been featured on Netflix and Amazon Prime, sold tens of thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays, and screened at festivals and conventions worldwide. And now, nearly a quarter century after that first little film, we're finally in a place to bring the saga to its conclusion. Oh no, it's going to end. Oh no, that's sad, but let's go on. We got to do it. If you know me, you know what I'm coming out of the worst years of my life. If they've taught me anything, it's that none of us have as much time as we think. And we can't keep putting off what we can accomplish now. Even one more year of delay too easily becomes 2 and then 4, and then another decade has passed and we've aged out of our roles. I reached out to Zoe per our agreement and they chose to pass on producing Dorkness Falls, which freed up Cabin 9 Films to produce the movie. I've been working on the script for the last 18 months. We have the ability to make this now, and we're not waiting any longer. Thank you, fans, for your patience and passion over these many long years. And thank you, Zoe, for keeping the torch lit and carrying it so long. The Gamers' Dorkness Falls concludes the storyline that began with Dorkness Rising and continued through Hands of Fate. At the end of the last film, the Shadow, the nemesis of the players since the original Gamers, pulled the players into the game world itself. What have the Gamers been up to since then? Who is the Shadow? What are his plans? How have they managed to survive without powers or class levels? And will they ever find their way home? The answers and so many familiar faces will be found in Dorkness Falls. The cast as featured will include Nathan Rice, Brian S. Lewis, Carol Roscoe, Scott C. Brown, Christian Doyle, Jennifer Page, Matt Shimkus, and Scott Kurtz. The writer and director will be Matt Vansel, the DP will be Chris Mosio, and the editor will be Andy Doborowski. Please back it.
Aw, thank you very much, Peter. Yeah, they're like, come on, we gotta get it done before time takes us away. That's
I remember
great.
that name, Andy Doborowski.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
There's several people on here. Actor-oki regulars, Scott C. Brown, Jennifer Page was an Actor-oki original. Yeah, it's a great. I mean, this is a Seattle film company. There's not a lot of films that get made in Seattle anymore, and it's this is fantasy filming. It's a gamer centric. It's everything that all of us should rejoice in and support. And I really hope it happens.
All right. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Peter. Javion, last but not least, you have something for us to take a perusal at.
I sure do. It's DC 20. DC 20 is touted as the next great evolution in fantasy TTRPGs. You might have heard it described as what D&D 5e should have been. There are a lot of things that you'll recognize from DC 20. It's a D20 based system, and it has a lot of very fresh, unique new changes. Think of it as more of an overhaul with a lot of interesting ideas being implemented that people are absolutely going bananas over. Right now, they have pledged way over their $20,000 goal. They're up to $1.3 million backed right now. And here's why. There are a lot of innovations here to accept, right? Number one, we've got action points. Action points help make everything so much smoother in combat. What do you want to do? Move? That's an action point. What do you want to do? Cast a spell? That's an action point. What do you want to do? Oh, you want to attack again? That's another action point. You can do whatever you want to on your turn. And if you ever get to the point where you're like overpowered, they start stacking disadvantages on you. So everything stays balanced. There's only 4 attributes now: might, agility, intelligence, and charisma, simplifying that whole process of character creation. Speaking of which, you can create your own ancestry. Come up with your own idea of what races and classes and stuff like that exist already in your worlds and build them to your standards. There's mana points and stamina points. Mana points for the casters, stamina points for the martial characters. Finally putting them on equal ground. You can create your own custom actions, and the list just goes on and on and on. There are so many different tools, not just for the players, but also just to make the game master's life so much easier. I am so excited to actually finally try out a one-shot of this in my games, because it's so easy to just teach it to my group who already knows how D&D works. And I just got to tell them, hey, now there's all these better mechanics that we can try out and see if we want to implement them in our 5e games from now on. So check this out. Use the link in Twitch chat if you want to see the Kickstarter. You've got 17 days to go. Find a pledge level that fits for you, whether you just want some digital content or if you want to get some special edition deluxe art hardback covers and stuff like that. Support the creators in however you want.
Thank you so much, Javion. And hey, guess what, folks? With that is it for our Table Takes, and it is up to our glorious leader, Peter, to tell us what we have in store for this whole week.
Well, you are right, Bonsai. This concludes another episode of Table Takes, a roller coaster of an episode with some bad news and also some wonderful news. But don't go far away. In just a couple of hours, we will have an amazing show called Sarah's Table. Sarah, since it's Pride Month, Sarah is rerunning a session of This Party Sucks, which is a game for 3 about a messy breakup and grappling with your queerness. On Mondays, we will have Me versus the Machine, or Peter versus the Machine, if you prefer, at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where I would probably continue to get my butt kicked as Byzantium. Yeah, that game's not going well, but we're having fun. So come watch me get my butt kicked. It's okay. Then later at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we have Dress to Quest. On Tuesdays, we have Indie by Night at 7 p.m. Yes, that's right. Vampires in Indianapolis. Gotta love that. Wednesday, we have our miniatures painting show called Path of the Brush at 4 p.m. Pacific. And then this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m., we will have TableTakes Plays, playing The Crown, an RPG designed by our very dear friend, David Vandy. Thursday morning, 11 a.m., we have Blood on the Clock Tower. And then join us again at 5 p.m. on Thursday for some Shadowrun with Roll with Rem Alternus. Then Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we are back here for Table Takes. Thanks to our Gen Con TV crew, Marcus Mays, Steve Connard, Sarah Moore, Tanel Levitt, and now Jim Sadawaski. Also, thanks to my delightful co-hosts, Javion Smith, Bonsai Baby, and the Noir Enigma. And thanks most of all to you for watching and hanging out with us in chat. Remember, follow Gen Con TV for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year long, right here on twitch.tv/GenConTV. And one more plug to Ken and Robin Talk About Stuff, because we are new sponsors for Ken and Robin Talk About Stuff, my favorite podcast. Yeah, check it out. Yes, please click the follow button. Thank you. Goodbye.